welcome to TRS Media. On tonight's episode, we are going to try a new thing called Casting Call, where we pick certain properties and decide whether we're going to make a movie or a TV show about them and how we would go about casting them. On tonight's episode, we are featuring the Mass Effect universe, and I'm joined tonight by Michael.
And I'm joined tonight by Matthew.
Yeah, there we go. How's it going? If you like what you see on the channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. So, Michael, where do you want to start? Which Mass Effect do you want to do first?
Well, I thought we won't use the game specifically. We'll go just on characters.
Okay.
And if you take a look at our production notes, you'll notice that I've started with the side characters and squad mates from the second game, and then the only one that's added in the third game, and then we'll finish off with the characters everybody loves, the main characters, and we'll end we'll probably touch on some honorable mentions here and there, I'm sure, when we start to digress, but we'll finish with Commander Shepard.
Well, first off, do you want to make a movie series, or are we going TV series? I'll give you my thoughts. I personally think the Mass Effect universe lends itself to a HBO series. Sex, violence, bad language. Bit like...
There's a lot of stuff too.
Game of Thrones in space.
Yeah, if you tried to make a movie out of Mass Effect, you would be doing an original approach, I would imagine. You could take the storyline of the trilogy and condense it, but it lends itself so perfectly to an episodic style series, especially when you consider the second game, which has all of the second game actually feels like a series. Like every mission is an episode in the series. You've got the recruitment missions, you've got the loyalty missions, and that kind of it's very similar in the first game that way. They're not quite loyalty missions, but you do all these extra side missions for everyone. The only one that could be a movie from start to finish would possibly be Mass Effect 3.
Yeah.
But even still, Mass Effect 3, so much happens in that game alone that there's just far too much content, in my opinion, to condense it down into a movie trilogy or something. Try like a limited 4 or 5 season series on HBO.
Yeah, I think you'd be doing a disservice to the source material if you tried to cram it all into a movie, even a trilogy.
And do you know what? You could, even with all the streaming services today, like CBS All Access, you've got Amazon Prime, Netflix, and there's no watershed on any of these streaming services. So you could do it on any of them. It doesn't have to be an HBO series.
Yeah, and honestly, from my opinion, if you're going to do this and you're hearing us, please let me binge watch it. Don't bring them out one week at a time. I want to watch it all at once.
See, can we just discuss that real quick? Because I have had this discussion with other people, and I personally... So The Expanse has just come out, right? And they released the first 3 episodes, which I think that's probably got more to do with maybe the first 3 episodes are all intertwined with one another. Moving on, though, they're going to be releasing them one at a time. I like that.
I want my stuff now.
Whatever happened to like waiting for things and having patience and building up excitement?
I think another reason why this definitely should be a series is The Mandalorian has proven that you can have movie-quality episodes on TV. Like, if you watch The Mandalorian Season 1 all the way through, it's just a big, long movie. The days of TV shows having poorer production quality from movies, I think is done.
Well, and even TV shows that don't have a great budget, by today's standards, are usually better in comparison to 15-year-old series that had a budget.
Yeah. So anyway... let's get on with it then. I'm just going to throw out characters. We'll discuss who we think should play them based on look, them as an actor, and how we think they would be able to take that character to the screen. So
I don't think it's not going to be exclusively look, but some of our choices are going to probably fall into that category.
A lot of them are not going to be on
because realistically, we're not casting crew. We don't really know who we should be picking. This is all just based on our opinions as people as players of the game.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them are not going to be in luck because a lot of them are not based off real people. So what I'm going to do though is make it really easy for your first option. I'm going to throw out there, who would you cast then in our HBO Netflix series of the Mass Effect universe for Miranda Lawson?
So it's funny you just said that not most of them are based on
This is why I went with this one first. Who would you pick?
This one's the easiest one to go with. So Miranda Lawson should just be played by the actress who she's modeled off of and played by in the game, which is Yvonne Strahovski. I hope I'm not butchering that name. But I don't think she's not too old at this point. The game's been out 10 years. If you go look her up, we're probably going to get some visual aids here. She still looks the part. She still looks just like she did in that game. And I really do enjoy the way she voice acts that character. Now, she's not exclusively a voice actor either. Mm-hmm. She's worked in television before.
Yeah.
So it's not one of those situations where you're like, oh, you can't cast that person because that person is a professional career voice actor. She does have acting chops on screen as well. So it's the easiest one. And I don't even, you're not going to...
I'm going to keep this really easy for you, viewers. I completely agree. She was in the last season of Dexter, I think. She was Dexter's girlfriend. So she has performed in TV shows before. She looks like Miranda. She talks like Miranda. To me, it's the easiest casting call out there. You just bring her back. So,
pretty straightforward.
Tick one for the boys. Let's go to her counterpart, Jacob.
Oh, Jacob Taylor. The Caden of Mass Effect 2. Except
he doesn't. You would have to choose whether he lives or dies or not.
Well, you can if you go on the suicide mission and you don't have his loyalty, or you send him off to do something that he's not qualified to do. He won't survive. Spoiler alert: 10-year-old game. Go out and play it if you haven't. So this one I struggled with because, like I say, I'm only going on luck. For this character for the most part, because if we made this into a series and I had my way, the characters who I'm not particularly fond of in the game, I would want them to be elevated for the show. So that would involve some poetic license and some changing here and there of the characteristics of the character in particular.
That's fine. In this mythical universe today, me and you are the casting directors for HBO's new series.
Yeah, exactly. So I've gone for someone who's basically going to fit the age profile, someone who's going to fit him on race, someone who's going to fit him on build, and I've gone with Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, nice. That's I like that.
He's not quite tall enough. But he's got the physique. You're going to get to see him without his shirt on.
He's definitely got the acting chops for it.
And there's that too. And like I say, if you bring Michael B. Jordan to play this character, that by default is going to make him more interesting.
That is true. You're right. In the game, he is... I like to call him a grey character because he is needed for the game, but you don't really pay much attention to him. He's like just... there.
Well, if you play Femshep, he's one of your main love interests.
Love interest. Well, I didn't go for. To me, Michael B. Jordan's some big chops there. That's a very good up and coming actor.
He's an up and coming film actor as well. So, is it reasonable to think that he would be in a TV series?
I've come up with the same kind of thing. I picked a film actor, but in writing the script to elevate Jacob as a character, I'd try and make him be a bit more funny. Because he's very deadpan in it, and there is not a lot of comedy in the Mass Effect universe. There's some really good characters.
There's some hilarious moments in the Mass Effect trilogy. Yeah. I think you forgot.
So my choice of actor would be John Boyega. And I'd have him with an English accent. I would make Jacob an English-speaking John Boyega and have a bit more... is it levity? Is the word?
I don't like the idea of giving him an English accent, personally.
Why not?
Because he's not English.
He's a spaceman.
Yeah, sure.
He's a spaceman from space.
That's just personal preference,
okay.
That's all.
So I'd pick Boyega for the same reasons as Jordan. He brings some star power. The look, I think, is bang on for him there. I think he's a bit taller than Michael B. Jordan. And... The good thing is...
He fits him perfectly when it comes to his character. You say you're bringing him in to bring a little lightness to the character, but he could play him straight, though.
He could. But I like Boyega when he's being a little less serious. Some of his best stuff in Star Wars is when he's riffing off Han Solo in The Force Awakens, and he's adding a bit... Well, he used the Force. That's not how the Force works.
That's more of a Harrison Ford.
Yeah, but it's a combination of the two. Hey, Solo, What did you just call me? Yeah,
I have to say he's a humble guy as well. You'd probably be able to get him to sign up. It wouldn't surprise me if John Boyega's played the Mass Effect trilogy.
Yeah, it's definitely that age. So yeah, so we got Michael B. Jordan and John Boyega out there for us casting call on them too. All right, so I haven't got one for this guy because
you didn't come prepared.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I didn't really. So I've played the game through twice. I played it nowhere near as much as you. Because remember, the first time I started playing it, I didn't like it because I got stuck at one point in the first game.
So you've only completed it once?
No, I've played the whole playthrough twice.
When was the second time you played through? Because the time you played through with me would be now 3 years ago.
3 years ago, and then when
4 years.
when I first got the 360 here.
Oh, okay.
And this character was, to me, this is more of a more side character than Jacob and Miranda, and that is Thane. So, do you want to give us a quick rundown again on Thane?
So, Thane Krios is an old wise assassin Drell, employed by his Hana overlords, and he comes across Commander Shepard because he actually is terminally ill, and Shepard needs him for the suicide mission.
Is it him or his race that's ill?
No, it's just him.
It's just him.
He has what's called Keprol syndrome.
Because we deal with his son as well, don't we?
Yeah. Kolyat, yeah. We could talk about Kolyat on an honourable mention. But Thane is introduced into the story, I believe, in the third round of recruitments. You go to Ilium. And he can be a love interest.
All right.
But he's also, like I say, he's a very complex character because he's got these sort of spiritual beliefs and also these ideals that he isn't actually a murderer. He's just a weapon. And that the people who hire him are the murderers. So there's an air of wisdom to the character as well. And for me, I actually have two choices. And they're mostly based off of the acting chops. One, I guess, kind of matches the voice a little bit. But you were talking about Dexter. So I would imagine Thane to be played by James Remar.
Dexter's dad.
Who was Dexter's father, Harry, in the awesome, critically acclaimed TV show Dexter.
Yeah, but his role as Raiden in Mortal Kombat 2 is way better.
Yes. But don't you think the voice works, though?
Yeah. And because he's going to be highly prosthetic up, the age, I don't think...
Well, he is old, is Thane.
Yeah, but from the way the game is shot...
No, he's old.
Yeah,
Thane is an old man.
But it's hard to tell whether aliens are old in computer games.
But he's old, though.
Yeah. So, yeah.
He's an old dying man.
Again, I like it, man.
He's not geriatric or anything,
No.
but he's getting up there. He's in his 50s.
The guy's I don't want to use the word B movie because he's like a B character actor in movies. So, like, if you think about it, in Dexter, he's a side character to Dexter.
It's his character in Dexter, though, that made me want to pick him because of, like, that whole wise, failed father mentor figure.
Yeah. Well, he's what's it called? I think he's the FBI guy in the Fast and the Furious franchise before it got stupid.
Yeah, and he's also the guy who screams that cannabis should be illegal in Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express. So he does fit the bill of a character that's going to pop in and out of the show, but not be a main guy.
I did have another option, but you probably aren't familiar with him. But he's in the TV show NCIS. He's actually the lead, Mark Harmon. He's a bit older though.
Name sounds familiar.
Well, there's a picture of him.
Yes.
He doesn't have the voice.
I like the gruffness though of your first choice.
I think James Remar is my number one choice for that one.
Now, let's just put it out there. Any of these aliens can be complete CGI with anybody voicing them.
Well, Thane won't be CGI. Thane will be
prosthetics. Yeah.
I want the actor to be playing this character.
Okay, yeah.
He's obviously going to have stunt doubles because I don't think he's a martial arts expert.
No. I'll go with your choice then on Dexter's dad.
Well, I mean, you did pick one.
Well, because again, I put my list down of characters that I would class as main characters.
Thane's a main character. Thane's a fantastic character.
Okay.
Just because you chose not to even talk to any of these people doesn't mean they're not good characters.
Okay, now we'll come on to a character I really, really do like, Samara.
Well, Samara is interesting because she, to me, is kind of like what you said with Thane. I always pick Samara up last.
I always try. Every time I played it, I've tried to get her as love interest, but I don't think you can.
No, she won't.
I try so hard, though.
Yeah. You get really close, which goes to show that they actually thought about it in writing. They were thinking these horny little kids are going to want to. They're going to want to bun the matriarch lady.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to put it in there that he's going to try, but she's going to turn him down at every option.
Well, the hard thing about it is, even though she's classed as an older, I forgot the race name. What's the race name?
Asari.
The Asari. They're still smoking hot at that age, so you don't even need to pick an old actress. So who would you go for Samara then?
Well, I have gone with the very beautiful, the thespian-esque, well-spoken, absolute hilarious Kate Beckinsale.
Ooh.
And she's at the point in her career where she might be wanting to take. She's like, "Oh, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. I've not done an HBO series."
And she does look good in corsets from Underworld and spandex and leather.
I'm not saying that they would necessarily put everybody in spandex in this show.
All the Asari are in spandex.
Just because that's what the visual design of the video games was like.
Kate Beckinsale, yeah. See, I was going along the same lines, and it's funny that you say Kate Beckinsale, because I went less star power, but similar sort of look in Rona Mitra. And the funny thing about that is, Rona Mitra is in Underworld 3.
Okay, I gotta look her up because I don't know who she is.
Do you remember anybody from Ali G?
I know who she is now. Yeah, she's in that movie. The like post-apocalyptic movie.
Doomsday.
That's.
But she's in Underworld 3 with Michael Sheen. She plays Victor's daughter.
I've not seen Underworld 3. I know her from Doomsday.
It's the best of all the Underworld movies.
Yeah. I actually wish I'd have remembered her now because she would have been a really good choice for my femshep, but oh well. A little bit too old.
Well, it's funny though that Rona Mitra takes on the scantily clad vampire in the third film of the Kate Beckinsale vampire series. Yeah. So it's funny that you brought that up. And the only reason I say I'll go for Rona Mitra over Kate Beckinsale is there's a lot of characters to cast. And obviously if they do a show, there's only a certain amount of budget. So I'm trying to pick where I put all my money for my star power.
Well, I'll give you the main reason I went with Kate Beckinsale is because
she's horny and beautiful.
She fits that profile obviously, but she's one of the few characters who I was able to sort of pin down the actor I want based on the way I think they would portray them. And Samara is this very unfeeling, by the book, uncompromising kind of person, and I feel like Kate Beckinsale, deadpan Kate Beckinsale, usually brings that across quite well, and you could use her character from Underworld as a good example, because there's feelings beneath, bubbling just under the surface, but she's always doing a great job of keeping this tough exterior up, this wall, and that's my main reason for going with her. Okay,
so we've got two actresses who look very similar and play similar roles. Let's move on to another female, and I'll take this one because when I first played the game, these two actresses popped into my head straight away, and I can't see them as anyone else. So we're going to talk about Jack, who is, cybernetically enhanced?
No, she's Subject Zero. She is someone who had biotic powers, which is
biotic,
which is this this ability to manipulate Mass Effect fields, the MacGuffin of the Mass Effect series, to create events where you essentially change the mass of objects. So you can make things fly and throw things, or you can move faster and so on and so on. And she was kidnapped at a young age and experimented on by Cerberus to make her even more powerful, to see how, kind of like the whole torturing Alex sort of thing from Clockwork Orange, torture her and see just how far they can push her to develop her abilities. And she is referred to as Subject Zero.
Okay, so Subject Zero for me is either Natalie Portman or Keira Knightley.
So I like the way they look, but they're too old for me. But go ahead and explain.
So I understand the age thing.
It's because you've seen them both shaved head.
Yeah, to me they both fit the bill. They both fit the build of the body as well. I think both of them are good enough to carry out the acting, hands down. I think, like you say, I think Keira Knightley's younger. I don't think we need to go...
They're both the same age.
They're both the same age?
Roughly.
I don't think you need to go mega young on it, but to me, And again, the only reason I picked this is because from when I very first played the game, those two actresses just popped into my head, and I can't see anybody else playing that character in a live-action role.
So you want to know what my choice is?
No, let's move on to the next one.
So given the fact that my first and only complaint about your choice is the age, I've gone with someone who fits the age bracket, but someone who also can deliver that attitude. And again, another character who's got these walls up, but they're more open about it. They're more defiant and more angry as a result of, whereas Samara is more reserved. And I'm going with Chloe Grace Moretz.
Ooh.
And also, she only has a shaved head for the second one. She grows her hair out in the third one.
And she could definitely do the physical side of the...
She could.
I like... see, I'm not going to use that because I've got her somewhere else in my list.
No, of course. I think you and me only really know maybe 50 actors and actresses, so...
So everybody's going to be played by this actor.
Yeah.
It's going to be like Sam Rockwell in Moon, but Mass Effect's not going to be the same person.
But yeah, that's my Jack. That was my perfect choice for a Jack from just 6 hours ago when we were sat in line at the bookstore.
At the bookstore. All right. I think we both... so we've got... I'm going to nail it down. I'm going to say Keira Knightley over Natalie Portman.
Oh, she's the worst actor of the bunch. Sorry, Keira.
But I could probably get her for cheaper than Natalie Portman.
Maybe.
And you're going to pick up on Chloe. All right, so let's move on to probably our first CGI character. Oh, no, actually no. I'm gonna
not given the choice that we're gonna go with.
I was gonna say the choice of actor. Again, I think we've both nailed this one down. You'd think this character should be CGI'd, but this actor is so good at doing these kind of characters.
He could do everything about him. He could do the voice. He could do the body acting. He can take the prosthetics.
We're going to talk about Mordin Solace, and I'm going to go with Doug Jones.
And I am going to go with Doug Jones.
So basically, he comes out of filming Discovery, leaves his Saru stuff on. They add a little bit of extra stuff, and he just goes straight to filming this. The guy is...
He's a professional when it comes to
an absolute
his craft.
Genius of physical acting. Actually, it wasn't Saru that gave me this thought.
It wasn't Saru either. It was to me. It was just because I know that's what Doug Jones is capable of. And if you're going to have someone actually play physically that type of character, someone who has who thinks a mile a minute, someone who moves in strange ways and doesn't it doesn't really have that human feel to them. Who else are you going to pick other than Doug Jones?
So, I would have said. My reason for it is his Hellboy character, Abe Sapien. That, to me, was obviously his standout role. And we all know that he can manipulate his body while acting way better than anybody else. And he fits the build and everything perfectly. Mm-hmm. Well, that one was easy. Okay, so now we're probably going to go on to our first CGI character. And it's Legion. I don't think you necessarily have to go down the rabbit hole of keeping somebody who sounds like the character Legion.
Oh, not at all. For me, it's capturing the cadence.
Yeah, and now here's the opportunity to have a very distinct either voice actor or a very distinct actor do his voice. So I'll throw it over to you. Who would be... So we both agree Legion's going to be CGI? All right.
Yeah,
full CGI?
There's no other way. You'd probably be able to throw in some... animatronic moments in close-ups, but for the most part, Geth in general will be CGI.
So
characters.
CGI or mocap?
You might have a little bit of mocap in there, but the actor won't be motion capturing the character.
So full CGI character, and who is your voice actor to voice him?
Well, for anybody familiar with Flight of the Conchords, I'm going to be going with Jermaine Clement.
Jermaine Clement, that's Men in Black 3, plays Boris the Animal.
I'm not sure because I've never seen Men in Black 3, but he's the Flight of the Conchords. There's only two guys from Flight of the Conchords.
But he's the more famous one.
That's the one that wears the glasses. Jermaine Clement.
Yeah, he's the bad guy out of Men in Black 3. He's in Dinner for Schmucks. He plays the artisan in Dinner for Schmucks.
But remember, I'm picking him for his voice.
Oh yeah.
But I'm also picking him for his background. Now, the guy is a musical genius.
Well, yeah.
So he understands how to manipulate sound more than anyone, and he could probably do it just using his voice.
Goodbye Moon Man, Rick and Morty. It's one of the best songs in the entire.
Exactly.
Have to get Swifty.
Because there's a sort of musical element to Legion's voice to keep in mind. Because the character of Legion, he's a robot, but he's a robot that's controlled by thousands of different programs, and each program is aware of itself, and so. As they speak, you almost get the impression that it's thousands of voices all together, kind of like the Borg from Star Trek, but not as intimidating. It's a little, as I say, a little bit more musical in nature, a little bit more friendly sounding. Like you could tell that there's definitely some what do you call it? I should know this. I'm a producer. There's some pitch correction, auto-tuning as people like to refer to it as. But there is pitch correction that's added to the voice to make it sound a little bit unhuman. But Jermaine Clement, I think, can do that without any of the effects. You'd have Legion's voice just from what he can do by speaking into a microphone.
See, and I wanted to... Actually, no. I can't beat that. That's actually a good one. You just... beat what I said. I was going to have more of a famous voice to him, but no.
You could have Taika Waititi as well.
Yeah, because
another Kiwi.
NG11.
Yeah,
he does that really well. No, I'm gonna, because I was gonna go with.
It's funny because I picked Jermaine Clement first, but I did then think I was like, wait, is he in The Mandalorian? And I was like, oh no, that's Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, but also Richard Ayoade does a pretty good robot voice. So I was thinking between the three of them, to be honest, but I eventually settled on Jermaine Clement.
Okay, I'm gonna go with you on that because I was gonna go with Alan Tudyk.
It's too much of a comedic nature to that actor. I think he would insist upon bringing that into his performance, and Legion is not.
No, but think
intentionally funny anyway.
About,
there are funny moments because keep in mind, Legion has those weird, awkward moments where he doesn't want to admit to Shepard that as a robot he idolizes this fleshy being.
Yeah.
Hence him wearing the N7 armor.
You think
and
about K2SO though. Most of his comedic stuff is deadpan.
Yeah,
and it's the reaction of the humans by what he says as K2SO.
I also think Jermaine Clement can very easily pull that off too, though.
Yep. Okay.
Let's move on.
Move on to Kasumi. I didn't have one for Kasumi because, again, I didn't really class her as a...
Kasumi Goto?
Yeah, because she's a DLC character, isn't she?
Essentially.
Yeah.
But, I mean, these DLCs like Zaid, Kasumi, Javik in the third game were actually more of EA fucking up and rushing the game out. So these characters were not really meant to be DLC characters. It was just EA wanting to make more money off of you.
Okay, so Kasumi, she's an assassin, isn't she? She's the one.
No, she's a thief.
She's the one who's always invisible, isn't she?
She's a thief.
Yeah.
She's like a cat burglar.
But when you you only kind of like see her face in shadow as well, don't you? You never really see her.
She's usually got the hood on. I have a few mods on my game that reveal her face.
Okay.
But they're also the character model exists. Her face is out there. If you want me to get it up for you, I can real quick.
Oh, well, we'll throw it up.
I could tell you who I picked.
Go on then. Go ahead. Tell me.
I actually picked two, and I wasn't sure because I don't know what the age category for this character is. But I knew that we had to pick Japanese descent American actress for this role. So Isa Briones from Star Trek Picard, who plays Data's daughter Soji, was one of my choices.
To me, yeah, I think she's got the look as well.
She's very young, but she doesn't. She could play a little bit older. She's 21 in real life. She doesn't look 21.
No, I think the good thing about these characters though, they're very age ambiguous.
Some of them are. Some of them aren't.
No, like all the Asari are age ambiguous.
No, but Samara isn't. Samara, we know she's a matriarch, so we know she's at least 700 years old.
But she still doesn't look 700 years old.
Yeah.
So.
And we also know Rex is really old too.
Yeah. Okay, so who else did you pick?
Well, this one was kind of because she plays that sort of character in The Mandalorian. I also wanted to go with Ming-Na Wen.
Ming-Na Wen.
She, I think, fits the age category because so Kasumi, you don't know how old she is, but you assume that you assume she's been around a while because she was married, or at least sort of married to her partner Keiji. She seems to have seen a lot. She seems to have been there. She's definitely done a lot. All of those things that she has in her room on the Normandy that she's stolen. So you can have Isa from Picard, but like I say, you're gonna have to lean heavily into the fact that she's young blood. Whereas if you go with someone like Ming-Na Wen, she's definitely got a little bit more of that. I've been around. I know things.
So I like both your choices, and I think it's all about how you decide to write the character. If you're going to write her that she's, like you said, new to her profession, she's a new thief, she's trying to do it to kind of like build her way up the ladder, then you could go with a girl from Picard.
And I just wanted to be clear, I didn't want to typecast people based on their ethnicity either. It's a little difficult when we're dealing with these re-established characters, though. Kasumi
is
Goto.
Oriental.
Like, we know that she is from Eastern Asian descent.
Yeah, so I think if you decide to write her as a young character and that's her background or aspect, then that's fine. But then if you decide to make it out that Kasumi is actually a seasoned professional thief and she's worked for many organizations, I do like the idea of Ming-Na Wen. But on the same foot of that, you could also do... Because Ming-Na Wen could easily pull off, again, the physical attributes of the character.
Mm-hmm. I love her as an actress as well. I think she's fantastic.
But you could also have Michelle Yeoh. Same age as Ming-Na Wen. And she plays a badass like nobody else. She's one of my favorite characters.
Michelle Yeoh's not American, though.
She's not what?
She's not American. She has an accent.
So why can't Kasumi have an accent?
Well, I guess I wouldn't want Kasumi to... I would want Kasumi to speak with an American accent.
Personally, I would have as many accents in this show as possible because it's a show about space. I hate these shows where they do space shows and everybody talks American.
Would. Everybody in the future from the planet Earth
would speak Chinese.
We will all speak one language, and we will all have
That's why Firefly got
much
it so
the same
right.
dialects.
So yeah, but you could go Michelle Yeoh.
I'm not a fan of Michelle Yeoh personally, but
she's one of my favorite characters in Discovery.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Discovery. We're talking about
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragons, phenomenal.
But again, irrelevant.
All right. So yes, I did put...
It's just my opinion.
Again, though, I didn't put much thought into that because, again, I saw her more as like...
I love Michelle Yeoh. She's great. She's one of my favorite... I don't know what martial arts she does specifically. She probably does a whole bunch. But she's one of my favorite choreography-based actresses.
Okay. So let's move on to a character I really like who's not in the game enough, I personally think, is Zaid. And I have two characters.
If you play my playthrough, he comes on every mission.
So I'm gonna go through my two first because again, it's weird.
We have two.
Some of these we have one and it's easily. Then we have one who's the exact same, but then we also have two. So for me,
we have one and it's easy. Okay.
Again, when I played this for the first time, this actor popped into my head straight away, and that's Sean Pertwee. And then now since I've played it, I've watched Gotham and seen him play badass Albert Pennyworth. He could easily carry this off. He's the right age. He's got the right accent for it.
Is Sean Pertwee built like a brick shit house, though?
No, but...
Could he? At his age, would he still be able to do it?
He could carry it off physically, whether he put on the muscle. You just put on a muscle suit. The guy who plays Homelander's not built like a brick shit house. He's skinny as anything.
Oh, he's not?
No, that's an entire...
That's quite convincing.
That's a suit,
I never realised that.
So you could go that way because both of my actors for this, because to me Zaid's an older guy. It's harder to get a ripped old guy unless you went down the
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The chops of getting someone like Hulk Hogan to play him or something.
Or just get Arnie and talk about accents if you don't care about accents. Hey, Zaid's Austrian all of a sudden.
But again, I see Zaid as the short, muscly, angry type.
Do you know what would be funny, though, if you had Arnie play him? You go back to his roots of him getting overdubbed in his very first movie, Hercules in New York. You have him play Zaid and just have him overdubbed by Sean Pertwee.
Well, do you know what's funny? In that horrible scene from Terminator 3, where they say that they based on Master Sergeant someone else.
Oh, that guy.
I think that voice, if I remember rightly, is done by Seth Green.
Probably.
The overdubbed voice. No, so Sean Pertwee, after seeing him kick ass as Albert Pennyworth, but then my other option is another Sean, but instead of Pertwee, this time it's Bean. And both of these actors could carry off the accent, the role, the look, and the physical aspect of the character.
Do you know what would have to happen, though? Because so you know how like the game plays out in different ways, right?
Yeah.
Depending on your choices.
Zaid would have to die.
Zaid would have to
Sean
Bean. Yeah. He wouldn't be able to make it back from the suicide mission.
There's no way he's ever surviving. So they're my two. I think they're both great actors. The perfect example of a great actor is Sean Bean carries that first series of Game of Thrones, and when he dies, I'm just spoilers. When he dies, I'm just like distraught, and that's when Game of Thrones started going downhill from the point Ned gets his head chopped off.
Well, I thought for Zaid, don't get an actor, just get someone who you think might fit the part, and I was thinking Paul Gascoigne. No, I'm just kidding.
Hang on. I got to find a picture of Gaza in a beather on the chair for that.
Yeah. No, so my Zaid was, I said that, so there's a little bit of a wink based on my actual choice. So I was thinking, who's not had a job in a long time and probably really hurting for one?
Me.
Who fits...
That's why we're doing this.
Who fits the exact body type.
Yeah.
Who fits the voice. Who fits that awkward, I'm not quite comfortable with the situation I'm in attitude. Vinnie Jones.
Oh, God, no. You're talking about bad actresses in Keira Knightley. That guy can't act for shit.
Well, I just said, I actually purposely want someone who has really weak acting chops. Because that's what's so funny about Zaid. The voice actor is brilliant, but the character is so awkward.
Yeah, when the animations are
he doesn't belong. He's like you remember the scene from the Citadel DLC, spoiler alert, where he's trying to hit on Samara and he's just tanking.
Man.
He's talking about his rifle. He's like, what about my old Jesse? And she's like, oh, were you and Jesse together long? And he's like, no, that's my rifle.
I could no. I just don't see the acting chops there.
I also feel like Zaid's one of those characters where I can cut costs a little bit. He's not going to be in it as much.
Oh yeah, Sean Pertwee or Sean Bean.
Sean Pertwee is a good actor, and Sean Bean is not cheap.
No,
I don't know what you're talking about there.
If you want to see how good an actor they are, go watch Dog Soldiers. Sean Pertwee's fucking brilliant in that.
I've never seen Dog Soldiers.
Soldiers. Dog Soldiers. Right, that's a movie you've got to go watch. It is like if you like werewolf movies, that's probably in the top 3 of all werewolf movies.
I know Sean Pertwee from Event Horizon.
Oh, he's brilliant in that though as well.
I also know, yeah, he is. He's great, Sean Pertwee.
That's Zaid. That is Zaid in that film.
I'm in agreement that I do like the idea of Sean Pertwee to play Zaid.
That character in Event Horizon though is just Zaid.
Vinnie Jones is definitely one of my weakest picks.
Yeah.
I just couldn't think of too many old Cockney actors who would be in good shape still.
Well, again, if you pick...
No, Zaid has to be a Cockney.
No, he could be a Yorkshireman.
No, Zaid has got to be a Cockney.
Just think how good it'd be if Zaid was Sean Bean every week. You bastard. You could have a Zaid bastard.
He drops F-bombs all the time to Zaid as well.
So we both agree...
I think Sean Pertwee's a good choice, definitely.
All right, let's go into another CGI character. All the Krogan are going to be CGI in this, so let's go to the little Krogan, Grunt.
Not Grunt. This one's easy for me.
Well, you lead off then.
Steve Blum, the guy who voices him in the game. He also plays Zeb in Star Wars Rebels.
Oh yeah, now I see the.
He's a great voice actor.
Yeah, I see the. And I never tied them together.
I knew immediately when I heard Zeb on Rebels for the first time. I was like, that sounds like Grunt. But I played the Mass Effect games far too many times.
All right, that's easy then. Let's stick with that. That's better than my
He's a great voice actor as well. Proven voice actor.
All right. All right. Okay, so I'm looking at your production notes here, and I don't see one of the most important characters from Mass Effect 2 on here. So I'm going to add her to it. Edie. You've not got Edie down there?
Oh, I forgot Edie, but we know that one.
Trisha Helfer.
Yeah, Trisha Helfer.
Good old Alberta girl.
Even when she gets the robot body in the third game, just put some little white dots on Trisha Helfer's face and just CGI a robot body onto her.
She's in my top 5 women of all time.
She's like typecast, but she's not typecast for her ethnicity. She's just typecast because she's always playing a robot.
And she's beautiful, and I love her voice. Her voice is just so
She
sexy.
does have an amazing voice.
Now, if she wanted to do... You could actually employ her to do 2 roles. If you made Edie look like Edie from the game, she could play Samara. Why not?
I just don't. I don't see Trisha Helfer playing, like I say, that reserved, wise, old, unmoving person.
Oh, she can easily play that.
I think
And
we've got our Samaras.
She's a sexy older woman as well.
No, we don't need to go.
But yeah,
back to Samara.
to me, Edie's easy. You go to the actress who voiced her. She's beautiful.
Hey, look, I know the games objectify people, but let's not objectify people.
No, I'm saying though, the whole point of when Edie gets her body is to be a sexy body, and Trisha Helfer is everything, but she's completely.
Can I just go on a little side tangent here, based on the controversy we got from The Mandalorian recently?
Go on.
Will the Mass Effect HBO series have lady armor or neutral armor? Because all of the armor in all of the games, all the women have lady armor. It's form-fitting lady armor.
Yeah, but Edie's designed to look like that.
Not talking about Edie specifically.
Oh, right.
Anyone. It's just a quick yes or no.
Yes.
Okay.
Because HBO series, a lot of them are sold on sex appeal. And again, that's why I would have Trisha as Edie.
Oh, we're not even got to that, though. Everybody knows that Mass Effect is all about the banging.
Sex appeal.
It's all about shagging.
So that
everyone who plays the game more than once is just playing it just to see who else they can shag.
Yeah. So that wraps up your Mass Effect 2 characters.
Does it?
Yep, from what you got down here. So let's bring up probably one of my favorite characters of the game. He doesn't get introduced until Season 3. We're already Mass Effect 3. But he's a badass. He's funny. He's like the guy you just want to go to the bar with, and that is James Vega. So who is your James Vega?
Well, I mean, I want Freddie Prinze.
That's what I've got.
But he's too old for the role now, and you need someone who is absolutely jacked, because James Vega is that's basically his personality. His personality is he lifts, bro. That's literally all his personality is. I lift weights, and I'm charming.
Okay, well,
and I lift weights.
Let me listen to who you've got. And then
Zac Efron.
Too small.
Have you not seen Zac Efron recently?
No. I mean, too short then, not small. Short.
Well, no. James is pretty short. He's not that tall. He's just ripped. He's built. He's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and Brock Lesnar's huge. He's like 6'5".
Okay, but if you took Brock Lesnar and shrunk him down,
well, you got to think.
I'm talking proportionally. So, he's a big guy.
So, are you going to play it so that he looks big next to your Shepherd? Because then you got to do.
Well, I'm mostly picking him though because of his personality as well. Because I want a young heartthrob in this. Because so far we're old gits. I'm a millennial. Your Generation X. Like we're picking all of these actors that most of them are all gone and in the past. We need some young blood in there, and Zac Efron is my young blood. And keep in mind that James Vega is again he's a fresh LT, so he's still young and still proving himself.
No, I'm not a big fan of that one. If you want to go that route to be young and ripped, there's a guy you could get. He's not the greatest actor, but now with Zac Efron, and he's not very good at
Zac Efron's
accents,
not bad.
But you could go with Charlie Hunnam.
Gotta look that up.
Pacific Rim, Sons of Anarchy, King Arthur. That guy can get ripped. If you want to go ripped.
I need a picture of his face. Charlie Hunnam?
Yeah. If I'm trying to think in that same era now of young heartthrobs that you're looking for.
Yeah, but like what else has he done? He's like
what Pacific? He's done more than Zac Efron.
I bet he hasn't.
He's the lead character of Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, but that's just one thing. I think you're conflating you not knowing what Zac Efron's done with whether or not he's successful or not.
All I think about when I think about Zac Efron is extremely bad movies.
Well, he's actually an Instagram influencer now. That's his main focus. So he'd be really hurting for a job.
What is it? High School Musical and very bad movies?
No, my favorite thing I've seen Zac Efron in is the movie where he's kind of like a bully. I forget what it's called. That's the type of movie he's usually in. He's usually in kind of like B-rated comedies.
Yeah. If you wanted to go big and muscular,
you know he plays young Simon in season 1 of Firefly?
No, I didn't know that. If you wanted to,
now you do.
Yeah, if you wanted to go big and make James Vega look big compared to our Shepherd that we're going to pick, you're never going to get it because the guy is a billion-dollar superstar. But The Rock fits James Vega's personality, build, and everything better than anybody. But you're not going to get him, unfortunately.
No. And not least of all for the fact that James Vega is a
side
tier
character,
3
yeah.
character, right?
But that's what you're looking for. That's what you're kind of looking for, body and look wise.
Yeah, that's why I picked someone like Zac Efron, because you're not going to worry about him being too on screen too much. He's not pivotal to the story. You're going to get one real character moment between him and Shepard when he receives his N7 commendation, and that's about it.
Why don't you go with Freddy voices him and Dave Bautista plays him?
Again, in my eyes, he's too old.
You could change the character to be more of a.
Hey, I think we should have in these episodes of Casting Call, we should have a almost Who Wants to Be a Millionaire type lifeline where one of them is you can have this person in their prime if you want.
I guess what you. Yeah.
So Freddie Prinze Jr. in his prime,
because Freddie could get ripped. I think Freddie could pull it off now.
And what you could do to bring Freddie in and explain him being more of a seasoned veteran as opposed to a young newly promoted lieutenant, you could actually have him. He's already a commander himself, and the thing is he wants to be a subordinate. He prefers to be a subordinate, and that's why he hasn't ever got past commander.
That's a perfect idea of doing it. They're obviously in the military. You have officers, then you have your non-commissioned officers. And generally your non-commissioned officers are guys who will go through their entire career and never get a commission. But they are the seasoned guys, the experienced guys. There's your sergeants, your master sergeants. Freddy could be, rather than have Vega as a young new guy, you could just tweak the character a little bit to be the seasoned guy, and that's who Shepard goes to for advice and military tactics, because he's a seasoned warrant officer.
And then we have the one moment from the game where James comes to Shepard to ask him advice.
Yeah.
To say, hey, look, I got an N7 commendation. Should I take it?
Yeah, I like that idea, because then we allow Freddy, and then to me, one of the characters that I loved the most, Freddy made that character, why I loved him that much.
To be clear, that's the lifeline used now, though. We can't make that excuse for anyone else.
No. And the perfect example for that is the very first playthrough we had, and we have the you did with me, and you sat through and helped me through it. What did I say after the night out at the party at the...
You knew that he was going to be the one making breakfast for everyone the following day?
Because he says, you're going to love this next bit. I goes, I better go downstairs and Vega's making breakfast for everybody. Yeah. And you went, what? You played this before? I goes, that. And I walked out. There's James Vega.
Flipping eggs. Asking if everybody wants eggs.
And that's more of what a seasoned guy would do. A new recruit generally wouldn't be like that. An old seasoned guy would be the guy who does
Make sure everybody gets their morning protein.
Yeah, so...
Because remember, that's his only real character trait. You forget, you put him on a pedestal, but his only real character trait in the game is that he lifts.
Yeah,
that he's jacked. Bro. That's it.
Is there anybody else from 2 and 3 that we've missed?
As far as main, actual characters, no.
No, we have Javik. You ain't got Javik.
No, he's in Mass Effect 3. I didn't have Javik down. My Javik...
Okay, so completely CGI again. I would completely CGI this character. But it'd be CGI, probably mocap, as opposed to full CGI.
Get a little sad, really, because my perfect would have been Chad Boseman.
Do you know what? When I was thinking about this, that's the way I was going, because of his portrayal of T'Challa. That accent fits Javik perfectly.
That's exactly what I was doing. I was typecasting him because of his Black Panther role.
But there again, though, I've gone with that with somebody that can do a really good accent like that, and this is why I'll be CGI voice actor. Forrest Whitaker.
Sure. You wouldn't actually, and this one is the exception to the rule. You wouldn't absolutely have to have him do the accent. It's actually the voice actor from the game who has that accent.
Yeah.
The Protheans just all speak. They all speak with different accents. No, they all speak with different accents. Right. There's no actual set in stone accent that a Prothean would have.
But along the same lines of when I first thought about it, I thought about Chadwick Boseman. I thought that Forrest Whitaker could come in and do.
I just remember going to see Black Panther and I'm watching and I'm like. No, not Black Panther, sorry, Civil War, first time he shows up. I was like, is that a guy who plays Javik?
Yeah, because when he
sounds exactly like him.
When he's got the helmet on, he definitely sounds just like him. Mm-hmm. So, yes, I went with Forrest Whitaker there doing the voice for a CGI Javik. Plus, Forrest Whitaker can do, because Javik's always very serious, apart from when he's telling his very bad jokes that no one gets. So, Forrest Whitaker can do that. You just have to go watch The Last King of Scotland.
I'm going to throw a curveball.
Well,
and I don't know why.
I'm going to catch it.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe could be a good Zaid.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Not quite as good as Sean Pertwee.
Is
but
he allowed back in the country yet?
He could be Zaid
Is he
around.
still is he still banned from America for hitting that guy with a cell phone? Because that would be problematic. They'd have to shoot all his scenes back in Australia.
I'd never film in America. It's so expensive.
Yeah.
I'd be filming in Canada.
He's only banned from the United States.
Yeah, the
right?
Hollywood of the North. I still like Sean Pertwee for Saeed, but he would be a good Saeed.
I don't know for my Javik. I really don't. I didn't do enough of research into the character for this discussion. Like there was so many characters to go through. That's why I missed him on my notes.
And it's funny that I had Edie and Javik, but I didn't have Kasumi and Thane. So obviously, how we feel about characters from the game differently.
I'm also beating around the bush because I don't want to butcher the name of someone who I would really like. And he wouldn't have to put on an accent or anything. I think he could just use his voice from his character from Serenity, the very like blank, unfeeling voice. Tell me his name.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah,
he has, in my opinion, the characteristics of Javik.
His character he plays in Serenity, 100%. But he's
also a tortured soldier though as well, who everyone all of a sudden thinks, oh, he's a Protean. He's going to be the answer to all of our problems, and he's just like, well, no, I was just a soldier.
Well, think about his role in Doctor Strange. Same kind of deadpan, very serious. As Morbin, is it Morbin? He's Doctor Strange's like training partner in the first Doctor Strange. First one, second one's not come out yet.
I don't remember.
Yeah, he's in that.
No, I know he's in it, but I don't remember the name.
Someone like Morbin or something like that. No, I like those two. I like Chiwetel Ejiofor.
He's one of my favorite actors.
Everything he does is gold.
I don't give him enough credit. Whenever I have conversations with people about, who's your favorite actors? I don't ever. You know why? Because I'm always afraid of butchering his name.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
All right. Let's move on to some characters you've got down here that I don't consider main characters, but we'll cover them anyway and go into Mass Effect 1. First one you've got is Dr. Chakwas.
You mean the character who you sit down with in just about every game and get shit-faced with?
Yeah, but
she is a main character. You're making a lot of enemies with Mass Effect fans here.
But to me, she's a character that I can't take on a mission. I go to her to get exposition. She's an exposition.
But the game's not just about...
I know.
The game itself is mostly about the conversations and the decision-making. The gameplay is secondary.
Oh, yeah, no. Christ, I had to stop him. We were going to have those two engineers on this list.
I want Engineer Adams on the list.
Okay, so Karen... is it Karen? Karen Chakwas?
I want Kalisa Sinan Al-Banjalani on the list.
No, that's just going to be a guest appearance by... No, we have...
And does Shepard like Decker in our show? Do we have that moment where
that's canon, isn't it? Well, I want Benezia and a guest appearance by Marina.
Well, we'd have to do another episode on villains
of guest appearances as well. Okay, Karen Chakwas, who have you got?
Sigourney Weaver, and again another actress who's like, I've done just about everything, but I haven't done an HBO series.
Yeah.
Hey, come play our wise old seasoned doctor.
Yeah, she could.
And I'm thinking of her character from a movie I don't particularly care for, but the character from Avatar as sort of like the basis
well,
of her.
that character, yeah. As soon as you just said that, then it clicked in my head. Yeah, I can't pick anyone better than that because I didn't have Chakwas down, but that character from Avatar as that doctor, you just tweak it a little bit for it to be like a ship's medical doctor.
Well, because keep in mind, Dr. Chakwas, again, is a little bit of a complex character. You find out that she's one of these people who joined the service and never really got round to having a family or anything, and eventually got to that age where she's like, all I've ever known is the service.
Yeah.
And you probably met a few of those people in your career in the military. You must have had some people who were lifetime career military people.
You know Mikey War, he's lifetime.
I bet Mikey War, though, will have some... He'll have a family in the end. But either way, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That answers my question.
I'll go with that then. All right, let's move on to a character that we both know that we're going to...
Mikey War's a very good friend of his, for anybody wondering what we're talking about.
I'm going to put a picture of him on this. Mikey War, everybody. So... We're going to go to another CGI character here, another Krogan. We'll just touch on this quickly.
So we're moving into the characters
the main
now.
guys, because I know we both got the same guy.
We should realistically have a timestamp at the beginning of the video for everybody to skip ahead to this point.
Right. Rex, It's easy. John Goodman.
Well, I was thinking John Goodman too.
Yeah.
We had this eye to eye earlier. But I also wouldn't be disappointed if in the same way they did with Grunt, if they went with the original voice actor for him too.
Yeah.
And I need to pull up his name real quick. Oh, I just realised it's going to bring up Rex from Clone Wars if I don't be specific. Mass Effect Rex voice actor. He is played by Stephen Barr. I'm wondering if I've seen him in anything. He doesn't have a pretty, he's not got a big.
So to me, John
he's a video game voice actor, and all he's ever worked on is Mass Effect.
Yeah,
that's interesting. You'd bring John Goodman in just for the star power
and the fact that he sounds just like him.
They do sound very similar.
All right, I'm going to go through a couple of more side characters before I get to that. Let's go about Admiral Anderson. Easy.
So Admiral Anderson is a little bit tricky for me because I want Keith David in that role.
There's no Keith David's already signed. I've got his contract here,
and I think he would do it.
Of course he would. And you could, if you wanted to do it chronologically, where he's a bit younger in the first game, you could de-age him.
So Keith David should play every role he's ever played in a video game. He should be the arbiter in the Halo adaptation too. I love Keith David.
Well, Halo will be another one we come on to.
I also feel like Idris Elba could fit the role really well. But the thing is, Admiral Anderson in canon is from London.
Yeah.
But the character has an American accent.
Accent.
So you could canonize his being British by having a British actor playing him.
Again, though, we're looking at star power. Idris Elba is an A-list leading guy.
He would take up the vast majority of your budget.
Whereas Keith David, no offense to Keith David, I don't think he's ever been a leading guy.
No, Keith David's a journey B-lister.
But he's an awesome B-lister. That's the thing. And his voice is so distinct. To me, for Anderson...
Well, he's kind of like Freddie Prinze. He's an actor in his early days and then moved on to voice acting the older he got.
And I think when, towards the end of the series, as he's getting older, Keith David's perfect for it. So to me, that's an easy one.
And you could very easily write that in. You wouldn't have to have him be the captain of the Normandy initially, or you could, and you just be like, he's almost retiring. He's getting ready for retirement, and it's the events that unfold in the Mass Effect series that causes him to have to come out of retirement and then take on the role of being
100%.
He comes back to the Alliance to become an admiral again.
Okay, so now we're going to go on to two characters that in the first game, it's a yes or no. There's no in between. You can't save both of them. You have to pick one of the characters and let one die. Every time I play it, I always let the same guy die, so I don't know anything about this character. So I'll throw it over to Michael for this one, and that's Caden.
So just as a little bit of a primer for this, now when I was playing the game for the first time, I actually had the same problem you did. I got to a bit where I couldn't figure out what to do, and I stopped playing it, and then I came back to it eventually a few years later, and I was more seasoned in video games. I understood the RPG, the role-playing game style a little bit more, and I was getting through the game a little bit more, and I was starting to develop attachments to these characters. Now, when you get to that moment on Vermeer where you have to pick and choose, for anyone who actually semi-cares about the characters, it is a difficult choice. You're thinking to yourself, it's like, is the game forcing me to make a decision here, or do I go back and help Caden because he's defending the bomb, so I need to make sure the bomb goes off, but then Caden turns around and says, no, I've already armed it, go get Ashley and get out of here. Or if you have the reverse situation, do you go save Ashley, or do you realize, no, I can't go save Ashley because I have to make sure this bomb goes off. It really gets you thinking. It's honestly, and I think if I remember correctly, for you, it was that whole Vermeer mission was the moment where you realized, oh shit, this game's good. This game ain't fucking around. So to me, it was incredibly difficult to pick those two. I didn't know who I was going to pick. That being said, the more you play it, the more you get to know the characters, the more you realize they're both very basic bitch characters. Ashley's
a horrible person.
Well, yeah, she's this stoic,
religious
Christian xenophobe.
Yeah, complete racist.
Who has a thing for male Commander Shepard, so she becomes one of your romance options. So obviously, if you're planning on romancing her at this point, you're going to be like, well, shit, I'm going to go save her because she's my romance option. But I can see if you're playing FemShep and Caden's your romance option, that might also be the only reason why you might save him. I ended up saving Caden 3 or 4 playthroughs in because I'm like, oh, I'm replaying the game because I want to see how the game pans
I've
out
never saved Caden,
and how much it changes.
Maybe I should do that.
Caden and Ashley both get a little bit more interesting in the third game.
Yes.
Caden more so than Ashley. Because Ashley continues, she develops, the xenophobia starts to go away because obviously she develops close relationships with Tali, Rex, Garrus, all the aliens on the ship, right? So she does change, she does develop, but Caden is the one who has all these different complex issues develop in his life. He has a strange relationship with the people who he grew up with the people who, for all intents and purposes, did the same thing to him that Cerberus did to Jack in experimenting on him and whatnot. You start to learn a lot more about the character, and he becomes a little bit more interesting. But that being said, they're both quite plain characters. So if you were to bring this character into the TV series, regardless of who they choose to kill off, heck, in the show, you should kill them both off at different points of the show.
Yeah.
But we're getting out of the casting call here. I honestly think if I was to pick him, it needs to be someone who I believe could elevate the character, kind of like we were discussing earlier. And I would pick, again, another name I don't want to butcher, so I'm going to make sure I get my notes down here. So you will know him. He's from Star Trek Discovery. He plays Ash Tyler, and his name is Shazad Latif. I hope I pronounced that correctly. He would be my Caden Alenko.
Okay, so if that's what Caden's like, that character, I'm gonna go with, I can't remember the guy's name, but James Holden from The Expanse. There's James Vega.
He'd be a good Vega.
No, the guy that plays Amos.
No, stop. Hold on. You can't go there. You have to not go there.
What?
Let me just get James Holden's actor's name up real quick. Stephen Strait.
Stephen
The
Strait.
only other thing we know him from is 10,000 BC.
No, he's from Sky High as well.
I only know him from
He's from
10,000
Sky
BC.
High, which is an awesome movie.
Yeah.
Just back to that. Just pop the Amos is James Vega.
No, he's too complex. The guy playing James Vega needs to be.
No, of course, Amos is too. I'm not asking him to bring that character.
The actor has the ability to. He's got acting chops. He's got serious acting chops. I've seen him in some other things. I've seen him in small bit roles, and the guy is just. He's such a good character actor.
Well, there you go. He's better than Zac Efron on what we picked. He's tall. His
name's Wes Chatham.
Yeah, he's James Vega now. Then.
So let's continue
Okay,
on here.
so
who was your Caden again? James Holden.
Okay. Let me just go down.
Well, the natural next step
Ashley.
is Ashley Williams. So I actually really like the voice actress who plays Ashley Williams, but I don't think she's really been anything on screen either. I think she's a journeyman voice actor, so it would be difficult to get her in to the role. But someone came to mind, especially when I was thinking about this sort of. She's pure at heart, right? I'm this Christian, homegrown tomboy girl. I was thinking Rashida Jones from The Office, and what's the other Office like type show? Parks and Recreation.
I don't know.
She's predominantly a comedic actor.
Grab us a picture.
You know Rashida Jones.
Well, while you're grabbing a picture, I'll go over mine.
She's what's his face? I Love You Man. His wife in I Love You Man.
Oh yes, I know. Yeah, she's I think so. Yeah, she definitely could. The only thing I would say
she's a little older.
The age doesn't mean for me. Most of these characters are going to be set around 30 to mid 30s,
except for the ones who aren't.
Well, no. Again,
because Tally's a teenager when you first come across her.
No, but what I'm saying 20s. Is for the majority of my cast, I'm going to try and set them at that 30 to 35 age. But then there are younger ones. Okay. Because like you said, a lot of these in the game are really young. I'm probably going to add to all characters 5 years to their ages.
I'd also really like to see Rashida Jones playing more of a badass. Well, someone who can look after herself.
The only thing I would say about Rashida Jones is she's very short.
So
I went along the same kind of lines there of an actress who can play emotion, but she can also play stoic, and from seeing how her character changes in Gotham is Marina Baccarin.
I like the choice aesthetically.
She's a So I've seen her. She's played phenomenal good guys and phenomenal bad guys in Stargate, and she's a
You need a Katie Sackhoff type to play this character, and I wouldn't choose Katie Sackhoff. She's not the right fit
No,
for me.
she's not.
But you need someone who generally, again, talking about being typecast, someone who is usually tough guy, tomboy.
Yeah, Marina Baccarin can pull that off.
I don't know. I've always seen Marina Baccarin as this beautiful goddess.
She is, and to me, the way that Ashley's portrayed for a love interest,
I'm thinking of her as Anara right now, and that episode of Firefly, the Our Mrs. Reynolds, with the con artist, and then that's where I'm seeing her playing Ashley. The way she like tricks her, and the way she like defeats her using her wits. I'm getting this like very resourceful, gonna achieve type person.
Think about.
Because remember, she's a gunny in the first one, and then she becomes
I forgot what
lieutenant.
I forgot what her character's name is in SG1.
You talking about Carter?
No, Marina. Baccarin.
Adria.
Adria, yeah. She's badass as Adria, like real badass, and she's nasty in that. And Ashley is a bit of a nasty character. So to me, that's where I was rather than a Firefly.
She's not nasty. She's
evil. She's the goddamn alright man.
She's not nasty. She's just misinformed. She gets better. Trust me.
And she's a religious zealot. Perfect for Ashley.
Yeah, I could see Adria. Marina Baccarin, definitely. Yeah. I could.
Okay, let's quickly jump to another. This is my favorite character that you can't take on a mission with you. Joker. And we're both going to get the same.
It's because it'd be Seth Green.
Seth Green, yeah.
And this one's where age really don't matter. Because, I mean, Seth Green doesn't look that old anyway. Yeah.
No, he's a what's it called, a man boy.
He'd probably, you go up to him and say, hey, Seth, do you want to play Jeff Moreau in the Mass Effect HBO series? And he would be like, is that even a question?
He goes, no, he'd be like, I am Jeff Moreau.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's no one else, nobody else who could play that character. Just for the sake of discussion, though, is there someone you could think that would be able? Let's say Seth Green turned it down. Who could you bring in to play that role? Because he's so synonymous with that role.
The funny thing is, he's synonymous with that role as Freddy is with Vega.
Kind of, yeah.
So
I still think the character of James Vega is a little bit more of a sandbox. You could do anything with him because his character is very bland.
And honestly, Joker, you're on about Chakwas. Joker's my favorite character that never comes on a mission with you.
He's great.
He's by far the best non-mission.
He technically does go on a mission. You have that one little mission where you have to stop the collectors from kidnapping everybody on the ship. And you're kind of like running around, like hobbling around, because the character of Joker has brittle bone disease, so he can't.
Exoskeleton legs, man.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. It's to me, it's that.
It's decided.
Okay, are we ready?
I have spoken.
This is the way. Are we ready for the big four? I've changed my tally mid-show. Do you want to know who my original tally was?
You're going with Anya Charlotte now?
Yes. My original tally was Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah, see, Chloe Grace Moretz isn't goofy and awkward. Think Tally is the dorky nerdy chick.
Yeah, and she could play that.
I wouldn't have picked Chloe.
And she can do all the badass martial arts.
Tally doesn't do any badass martial arts.
But she will in my show.
No, Tally's a tech expert.
Yeah. But after you said Yennefer from The Witcher, that's who I'm going with.
Well, I might actually agree with you on that because I didn't have much for Tally because Tally, is my romance option usually when I play. I love the character so much.
Yeah.
I want her to be played by Ash Soroka, who plays her voice in the game, but she doesn't fit. Unfortunately, she doesn't fit the character type. She could, especially with the fact that she's got a mask on, but she doesn't quite. And also. What are we talking here with the Quarians? Because they do look a little bit different. They're aliens. Are they going to be CGI characters? Because if they are, you could get Ash.
The way I would do the Quarians would be mocap. They'd be in the suit and the helmet, and the only thing I would animate is their legs.
So I mean, if she was willing,
from the knees down,
if she was willing to act on screen, I would probably choose her as well.
No, I go for Yennefer.
Yeah, the Anya. She's a great actress, and she's been in nothing.
Yeah, Anya would definitely be my choice, and she can do accents as well. So.
She probably wouldn't have to do that accent necessarily.
No.
Keep in mind, again, the Quarians is the same deal with the Proteans. They all have different. They all talk differently.
I think she could play the goofy, geeky young kid as well because she's not very old.
No, she's not.
So I'd go with that Anya for Tally.
Who's next?
I don't want to leave these. I wanted to do one, but I'm going to go with this guy because to me, the two main characters of this Shepard and Garrus, but we'll just keep the lovers for the main one. We'll go with Garrus next.
I'd argue Liara is higher up there than Garrus.
See, to me, the way I played it, Garrus was my bro, man.
But Liara is the only character who doesn't die and can't die. Well, she can sort of die
if everybody dies.
If you fuck up the third game. But she's a canon character, meaning like no matter what you do, she will always be in the third game.
Yeah,
and even if you choose to just give up. Spoiler alert, if you choose to give up and not choose an option at the end and you just let the Reapers roll over, it's Liara's distress call that ends up being the point of the game. And not to mention, as anyone who is an avid Mass Effect fan will know, she's just featured in the latest teaser trailer for the new Mass Effect game, which means she's going to be carrying on the legacy. So to me, Liara is almost...
Shepard's just going to be in the new game.
Possibly. Well, that's another discussion for another time.
So let's go with Garrus first then.
Okay, Tom Hiddleston. And he's acting in TV now, so you might allocate a little bit of the budget to him, especially when you see who my Shepard is.
Okay, so explain yourself.
I love the fact that Tom Hiddleston has this sort of sophistication kind of cliche about him in the roles he usually portrays. But then when you consider his role as the villain in the Avengers, as Loki, he is so good at acting like one thing but being the other. And that's what I feel makes Garrus. Because Garrus is this person who is constantly fighting with who he is, whether or not he's the law-abiding police officer or if he's the murdering shoot-first vigilante. But at the middle of that is his loyalty to his friends.
Yeah.
So he's so multifaceted. He's so one way, but realistically everybody knows he's another way, and he's always trying to be something he isn't. I feel like Tom Hiddleston's ability to kind of portray a unreliable narrator, in a sense, is where I really want him as my Garrus. I also love his voice a lot, too.
Okay, so...
And his American accent's pretty good, too.
I will tell you my initial idea for Garrus, and then I'm going to make it evolve in what you just said. So my initial reaction to Garrus is Doug Jones mocap.
You could do that, but still have Tom Hiddleston voice. I would be down for that.
I was Doug Jones mocap with the Garrus voice actor doing his voice. But now that you just brought out Tom Hiddleston, it would be Doug Jones, CGI mocap Garrus, because I believe the head of they're the Quarians, are they?
The Turians.
Oh, they're the Turians. Quarians is Tally, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Turians, I think their head is too... what's the word I'm looking for? Too... no, I was going to say graphic, not graphic. Too detailed to use prosthetics. So I want them to look exactly like they're doing in the game. So to me, the head would be CGI'd.
Yeah, and this kind of makes me worry a little bit, and why I wanted to go with someone like Tom Hiddleston, because I wanted to make sure we weren't just picking the voice actors everywhere we could. Because so far we've done quite a few of those.
But that's because the games mean so much to us. If we were just pure casting guys that never played the games and didn't give a shit.
Because realistically, if we were going motion capture and CGI, I would just have the voice actor play him.
I'm going to do a merger of our ideas. I'm going to go with Doug Jones doing the mocap because I believe, obviously, his movements would be awesome. CGI the whole character.
And Doug Jones is going to be getting paid a lot for this show because he'd probably do all of the Turians, all of the Quarians, all the Solarians.
And Tom Hiddleston will do the voice. Are we sound on that one?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right, so now this is where like 95% of our budget is going to go.
Not me.
No, all our budget's going on side characters.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I've gone with the main.
So do you want to hit these two at the same time, or do you want to do them individually?
Do them individually.
Okay, so I will go with Liara first then. My Liara, I've picked because for three reasons. One, she's beautiful, and she's got the curves of Liara. Two, when she does her normal accent, I like her normal accent. And three, I think she's a pretty good actress, and that's Scarlett Johansson. You could literally just throw some prosthetics on her head, paint her blue, and send her, and she's there. Now, again,
don't see it.
This is where a lot of your budget's going.
And I don't see it. I really don't.
Why?
So, not least of all, again, I've been using this word quite a lot. She's pretty much typecast now as Black Widow.
But Black Widow's dead.
Still,
So-
there's gonna be
so-
but there's
but
it's
that's
not
it,
stopping them
no,
from
no,
bringing
so-
a movie out.
This is why it's perfect. She's dead. She's having a movie that should have come out this year. It's going to be out next year.
So you think?
She needs work. She's out of the MCU.
Nobody dies. Nobody's ever really gone in the MCU.
But to me, her pure look, her voice, she could instantly pull off a Liara.
So I have a controversial
And she has
pick.
100% sex appeal.
I have a controversial pick. Come on, let's not. We got to be careful. We're not getting too.
Well, no, because we're talking about casting a show. First off,
We're talking also about a show that is incredibly. It's not like the game isn't sexist, as it were, but it definitely objectifies its characters quite a bit.
But that's what I'm saying, though. We're talking
male or female.
We're talking about a game that objectifies its characters, is steeped in the amount of sex that it does, and we're talking about putting it on HBO. So we can.
There's a famous meme basically of Mass Effect where I don't know how they did it, but someone edited or clipped his voice or found a perfect line where they cut Shepard speaking where he says "We'll bang, okay."
We'll bang, okay.
Yeah, and so go look up that when we're done. We'll bang, okay.
Mass Effect is actually
joking about the fact that Mass Effect is all about just one man's journey to get laid as much as he can.
But that's it though. The Mass Effect is what happens in your pants when you're playing the game.
Yeah. So my choice for Liara is pretty controversial.
Go on then.
Because I don't think she's a particularly great actress, but I also don't think she's necessarily been given the chance yet. Most of the roles she's played have been in films that are just. I don't think any actor could have worked with what they were given, and that is Cara Delevingne. And the reason I go with her mostly, because like I say, she was originally a model, so she's a model turned actor. I go with her specifically because of voice and look. She sounds like Liara, and she looks like Liara.
I don't think she looks like Liara at all.
She looks spitting image of Liara.
Are we talking face here?
Face. And she's a model.
She's not curvy though. She's not a curvy model. She's a straight catwalk model.
Liara's not necessarily curvy. Remember, Liara has the exact same character model as all the other females in the game, all the other female humans in Asari.
And they're all hourglass.
Yeah, but we're not. But this video game, we're not talking.
Yeah, but we're on about casting.
No,
Liara.
right, okay, but you have to. Yeah, honestly, you have to listen to me here because you're making a significant mistake in understanding the importance of curviness in picking characters here. All human and Asari female character models in the games are the same character model.
Yeah.
That's not that's not out of choice. It's because these games these games made in 2010, 2012. It was the only way they could. Nowadays, obviously,
apart from Jack, who's got the body of a little boy.
No, Jack has the same character model. She's got
strapped down.
No,
she has barely any boobs.
The character model, if you took a silhouette of them both and put them next to each other, the character models are practically identical.
All my female characters that I've picked here, all my casts are all curvy. Hourglass,
and I'm not concentrating. That's not one of my.
I don't see.
That's not one of my characters.
I don't see Cara Delevingne there.
That's not one of my criteria for picking a character, is whether they're curvy or not.
All I'll say is, if you want to see her in something else that's not a bad movie, go watch Carnival Row. She can't act for shit.
That's my biggest worry with her is her ability to act.
Yeah. I would go.
You look at that and tell me that isn't spitting image of Liara.
Oh no, I'm not. No, I'm not saying facially that she's not close, but you're gonna cake her in prosthetics anyway. You could easily make Scarlett Johansson.
You wouldn't cake Liara in prosthetics.
Yeah, from basically there backwards.
No.
It's all prosthetics.
All you'd have to do is basically cover the hair in the headpiece.
Yeah, the head.
And
she'd have a cowl
and a blue face.
She'd have a cowl.
There's not intense prosthetics required.
To me, Scarlett Johansson's a way better option.
And I don't think Scarlett Johansson's even remotely.
Okay, so there's the first one we disagree about. Tell us in the comments.
Well,
you think
there's going to be a lot of disagreements.
Or Scarlett Johansson.
Well, I don't think they're either are perfect because, like I said, I strictly went with Cara Delevingne because of the look and the hope
that she can act.
That if we got the perfect director for this show, that director would be able to make an actor out of her. Because so far, I haven't been able to see her.
I say, go watch Carnival Row. It's terrible.
Yeah, but like watch her role in the Suicide Squad. Terrible. What was that space flick?
Luc Besson one. She's terrible in that 1,000 Planets.
What was the space flick? Is it like Valkyrie or something?
Yeah, that's it. Something of 1,000 Planets.
Yeah.
Luc Besson. She's terrible.
But that's what I say though. Is that her or is it the movie she's been cast in?
I'm not gonna say because I don't want a legal lawsuit.
Hey, no, don't worry, man. I'm not sure if you've ever seen interviews of her, but she she's a tough interview.
Oh yeah, she don't give a fuck.
She's got quick wit as well, which is another thing that I like about her in this role. So even if she's not necessarily going to portray the character perfectly, she can still bring some of that quick wit in, so that when she becomes the Shadow Broker, spoiler alert, we've all of a sudden got someone with quick wit who would fit that role perfectly.
Okay, let's move on to El Capitano. Commander Shepard.
Well, because you didn't do this and you're insistent on this, but let me just throw this one in real quick as a quick honourable mention. But we're going to go with Commander Shepard, but I want to say my FemShep first.
All right.
My FemShep would be Colby Smulders from the Avengers.
Oh, How I Met Your Mum.
Yeah, but specifically her role as Agent... what's Agent Hill?
Yeah.
As Agent Hill.
Yeah.
That is basically my FemShep.
All right. I'll just paraphrase. It's the reason why I haven't picked a female shepherd is because I never play a female shepherd and I see shepherd as a dude. So that's the only reason why.
And FemShep is probably the canonized shepherd, but also not to mention that you just play her not because you're role playing as a woman, but you play her for the compelling nature of the character itself.
Maybe next
for the most part, they're identical.
As I say,
but there are little differences, intricate differences.
Maybe
between
next
the
time
two.
I play through, I'll play female shepherd and I'll save Caden.
Sure.
Right. So let's go on to male shepherd. Who's your choice? This is a guy who's going to carry your show.
So this is why I insisted that you didn't go into any details earlier about Wes Chatham as James, because Wes Chatham is my Commander Shepard.
Yeah. No, I see.
He's got the face. He's got the build.
Don't get me wrong.
He's got the chops.
He's got the face.
And I don't want someone big. We've already put all the money on all these other characters. I want this Shepherd. I want it to be a Mark Hamill situation. I want this person to be forever known as Commander Shepard. Not to say he hasn't acted in anything. He is Amos from he's Amos Burton. I won't get spoilers, but he's Amos Burton in The Expanse, so he's already kind of been typecast for a lot of people as that role. But again, complex character, someone who thinks that they're worried that they have a problem, that they don't have any empathy, and yet when you find out more about the character, you realize that this character feels more than most people. So just the fact that he can portray that and make himself such a lovable character on screen to many people, despite the fact that he's
a psychopath.
Well, he's not a psychopath. He's unbalanced.
Fucking right, he is.
Yeah, he's not a psychopath. To me, I honestly feel when we're going to be going with the Commander Shepard, you have to remember, as the writers of this show are going forward with this character, they've got to take into account that this is based on a character that millions
love.
Not just love, but they have developed and built their own version of this character.
Mind, yeah.
So this is an interesting point of discussion to just touch on real quick when considering Commander Shepard on the silver screen. You have to remember, he's not going to be a pure paragon or a pure renegade shepherd. Right?
No, he'd probably be down the line.
They'll have to find.
He's still going to punch her in the face, though.
They'll have to find a middle ground and a way to make this character feel like the character that most people will have played.
Okay.
And I think Wes Chatham, again, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I think he would be absolutely perfect for the role. I would realistically want Mark Meir to play him. Just get Mark Meir in the gym, get him all bulked up.
But again, though, remember, the shepherd isn't. His likeness isn't the voice actor, because shepherd is the one that you alter to be you. So in the game,
what are you talking about?
So the voice actor for shepherd is
Mark Meir doesn't look anything like Shepard.
That's what I'm saying. So even getting him in the gym, he doesn't look like this. So. Shepard though he's a military commander. He needs to. He's a soldier. He needs to be in good shape. Right.
Not saying Mark Meir isn't in good shape, but he's not built like Commander Shepard.
I like your choice of Wes, but he fits Vega so much better.
I disagree.
I think he fits Vega, and then because then you're asking him as
you've got a guy who can portray such a complex character on screen, and you want him to play the most non-complex character in the game. No, I want him to play James Vega, who we've already... Who's not complex at all.
But we already said...
He's a do-you-lift-bro guy.
But
that's
the thing was, when we discussed him, we already said we were going to flesh out his character. Yeah. Because he's such a favourite character.
Still, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about Commander Shepard.
My Shepard is Sam Witwer. Phenomenal actor. He's done movies and TV. He's the perfect age to where you can actually look at him and say, yes, this guy's old enough to have a bit of experience, but still be vulnerable enough to make mistakes.
So when the first game begins, Shepard is 29, and by the end of the third game, he's 32.
Yeah.
So you're at that age where you can work with anyone pretty much between 25 and 45.
And I said we were going to just bump the ages of the characters a little bit, just to give him a little bit more credibility. He's got the look for it. In fact, I think the default, to me, the default character kind of always looks like him, but it's the default male Shepard.
I like that choice. I do.
And he's a phenomenal... So his voice is phenomenal, because he's a phenomenal voice actor anyway. He's Darth Maul.
I see him. That's Commander Shepard right there.
Yeah, I told you. It's brilliant. We're going to throw... Email me that picture, because that's what... That's
just
my
search
Shepard.
his name on Google, you'll find it.
Yeah. And then that frees up Wes to be... Because you could see him and Wes as Vega being buddy. You could see them being... Because the one thing I would say...
I definitely wanted, when I was planning this out, when I was doing my research, I wanted him to be in this game, in this series. Because one of my things about The Expanse, the reason I love it so much is because, to me, The Expanse almost feels like...
A bit like Mass Effect.
It's very much like Mass Effect. And so when I see Amos Burton...
Yeah.
I see he's a character I would bring on a mission with me.
And that's why I see him as James Vega more than Shepard. And one thing we were just talking about how The Expanse feels like Mass Effect. The one thing I don't like about The Expanse is James Holden.
I love James Holden.
That's why he's going to be Caden. We're going to kill him off. But and I'll explain why. The reason why is, I'm not saying it's the guy's acting that's at fault. It might be the writing, but the other characters of the Rossi seem way more relatable. Alex, Amos.
Well, we're getting sidetracked here, but I have to just clarify real quick. So you've got the idealist in James Holden.
Yeah.
You've got the complex, not so black and white character in Amos. You've got the fundamentally flawed, doesn't believe in himself,
Pilot.
Alex, and then you have the Naomi, who's kind of like the yin to Holden's yang.
Yeah.
He's the idealist, she's the realist.
Yeah. So I'd have Witwer as Shepard purely, and I'll just cite some. His acting as Darth Maul is phenomenal, even though it's a cartoon. He elevated that character through this.
Oh, he's an incredible voice actor.
But as a screen actor, he's phenomenal in the third season of Supergirl as the bad guy.
All I would know him from is The Mist. He gets killed in The Mist.
Yeah, he gets killed in The Mist. He's one of these actors as well that before he came to screen, he would know every single detail about Shepard's backstory. The guy is a consummate professional.
Oh yeah, he's another one of those who it wouldn't surprise me at all. Just like John Boyega, if he's played the Mass Effect trilogy before,
hands down. So, and I think the reason for putting it as well is with the ages of Witwer and Johansson, I think their screen chemistry would be phenomenal.
So we're in agreement that if they were to make a canonized romance situation for Shepard on screen, it would be Liara.
It's always Liara, man. Two spacemen. It was always Liara.
So you'd have to have. I think we can start wrapping up soon.
Yeah, we'll start wrapping up.
And I feel like
I think you could have in the show. You could have hints that Shepard's attracted to other people.
A good way of you see, this is how I'm playing my current Shepard on my Twitch stream for my 12 days of Mass Effect.
You want everybody.
I am he's a bit of a player. So he went with Liara in the first game, but he tried it with both, and he even had that cutscene where he's like, "Can it be both?" And Ashley's like, "Not in a million years," and Liara's like, "I'm okay with it." And then in the second game, he's kind of going everywhere. He's actually fucked Jack, and he's made out with Miranda. He's currently like flirting with Tally.
Yeah.
and he's also had Kelly Chambers upstairs in his room. So he's just trying he's trying to see what he can do, man. He's like he's the seed is strong, right? Might as well.
I think the fact as well that with the star power of Witwer and Johansson's obviously a mega star. That's basically where near enough all your money's going.
You could create some really interesting drama though, right? Because that's actually what's going on in my mind when I'm doing this. Because right now Liara's not there. I'm currently in the second game.
So it's Miranda.
And Liara's not there. No, it's not Miranda. He doesn't know. He's not sure. He's
Right.
been dead 2 years. He's not, and Liara's come out and even said it's been 2 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think. So he's like, okay, well, fine. I'm gonna
Fuck you then. I'll go find someone
I'm
else.
gonna go find someone else. Exactly.
That-
So that could very easily happen in the show.
Yeah.
And so this is what I wanted us to wrap up on real quick. I think we've done our casting call. We've agreed on some. We've disagreed on others. Now let's plan out the show real quick. In my opinion, it should be a 5-season, like a limited series.
6 seasons.
I think 6 if you need it. I think the first series will be more of an introduction to the characters and an introduction to this Geth War and the villain of Saren. And season 1 will end with the cliffhanger of choosing whether or not Caden or Ashley dies.
That's a good place to wrap up the first season.
Season 2 is now, okay, we found out, spoiler alert, the Reapers are the real big bad. What are we going to do? You have all of this drama between Shepard and his crew and the council, and them not believing them or anything, or not giving them the opportunity to go and make a difference. That season 2 essentially goes from Vermeer all the way to the end of the first game.
Yeah.
Season 3 starts with the plot of Mass Effect 2. Shepard gets killed, and he finds his way. He gets resurrected by the Lazarus Project and finds his way into Cerberus's hands.
Yeah.
And then shenanigans now ensue.
Shenanigans.
So for the most part, season 3 would be just the events of Mass Effect 2, because Mass Effect 2, like I said, very much feels like a TV series as it is.
Episodic. Yeah.
Very episodic. And then you would have season 4 and 5 kind of. I almost feel like season 4, what you would need to do is, this is a way we start getting. We let our creative team and we let our writing team get a little bit more. Give them a little bit more leeway and a little bit more freedom
To flesh out people.
to flesh out the scenarios, sort of build up a little bit of tension between the end of Mass Effect 2 and the war that begins very much in the first scene of right at the start of Mass Effect 3. We don't know really what happens between that in that time. Shepard goes a bit rogue and ends up under house arrest back on Earth. What happened during all of that? We do have comic books which flesh it out, but let's flesh it out in season 4 of our TV series, and season 5 would be the war against the Reapers, the events of Mass Effect 3.
And see, I'd split that into 2 seasons. That's why. So to
And
me,
that's and I can
seasons
see,
1 and 2 would be
6.
the first game. Season 3 would be the second game. Then seasons 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6 would be Mass Effect 3 with, as you said, more fleshing out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we covered most of the main characters there.
That's all the main characters.
If you're watching those actors, please contact us. We're going to start filming hopefully in the new year.
Yeah. COVID restrictions
We
might
could,
prevent that.
We can hope. Netflix, Amazon, Disney, somebody, Casey, Trent, sell
It's not up to them.
sell the rights. Let's get it. Let's get this TV
Not
show
up to
made.
them. It's up to EA really, because they own the rights.
The thing is, the scariest thing is there is no decent video game adaptation out there. There isn't one.
And it's why the Halo movie is
It's
forever
in
in
purgatory.
it's forever in limbo, because Microsoft will not let anyone
Fuck it up.
make their own take on it. They want a director who's going to come in and he's going to take the games and he's going to just take the game and throw it onto a screen and make the exact plot for plot, point for point, scene for scene, beat for beat movie version of the Halo trilogy. And that's kind of what a lot of people would want with Mass Effect.
Yeah,
But
they wouldn't want much strange. And the thing is, though, the Mass Effect trilogy's story is so good. The guys at Bioware did such a phenomenal job. There's no need to fuck around with it. Rather than fuck around with it is you add to it. You add bits. So the way I would look at the Mass Effect trilogy, if you make it into a TV show, it's a beautiful, full, thick Christmas tree. Just start hanging little ornaments on it to make it look better.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else. And it's very hard to find people out there that want to make stuff like that, because they all want to make their own original content. Take Game of Thrones, for example. First few series were great when they had the source material, and then when they started making up their own shit, it tanked. That should be a perfect demonstration to anyone out there, is if you have great source material, don't fuck with it.
But everyone always does.
They do.
So I guess if you've got nothing else to really touch on, That's pretty much it.
I think we covered all the bases and most of the main characters.
All right. Well, as always, feel free to rate this video if you liked it, and thumbs down if you didn't like it. You can always do that. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon. If you're feeling really generous, go ahead and share us on your social media platform of choice. But until next time, that pretty much wraps it up.
Yep, so it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Cue the music.